Listen to the breath of spirit so that you can be guided and inspired. Awaken to the unseen that already infuses your experience. Amidst the seeming complexity, simply stop and breathe. Simply slow down. Grasping and holding on will only slow your growth process. Move in honesty and truth. Consider whether your choices derive from the movement of spirit or from the constriction of unconscious beliefs and limiting definitions. Be as guileless and spontaneous as the wind. Move with the currents of change that are being offered. Embrace the unseen forces that move to guide, inspire, and assist you. A message from our friend Eek. And welcome. Welcome to Moana's Divine Readings. I am Moana, and I am the Hawaiian Gypsy. And welcome for those of you who have come to my channel before. Welcome back, and welcome to anybody who has not been to my channel before. My readings are very unique, very different, as I incorporate wisdom from the Mayan Oracle, as well as our Hawaiian ancestries as well. So I kind of connect with Hawaiian and Mayan ancestries and bring a message together as they give a fabulous balance of energies, especially coming in today. So that was a message from each one of the star glyphs. Usually I only have one, but today we have two coming out. Now I usually give monthly readings, and I missed September and October, so I'm 2 months behind. So there you have it. Now we have two star glyphs that want to come out, so the Mayans are blessing us today. My readings go kind of like three parts. The first part is the I give a message from the Hawaiians, the Hawaiian ancestry, and then I give a message from the Mayan ancestries, where I take a message from the Mayan Oracle, and then I also have a message that comes out from the Tarot, the Zultan Tarot, Mayan Zultan Tarot as well. And then from there I go into a second part, and I give a reading that is a spread that is based on Spirit has gifted me a vision of a spread that is based on Ho'o Pono Pono principles, which is balancing the three selves that the Hawaiians speak about, are your lower self, your middle self, and your higher self. And kind of zoom in. I have shuffled and meditated all on the cards. So as we can see down here, this will be the second part. And so the middle card is your middle self that you manifested here on Earth. And then the card on the bottom is your lower self, represents the lower self, and that is basically all like your instincts. It can also represent the ego, as well as your instincts, and all those kind of on the subconscious part of yourself. And then we have the higher self up here. This one right up here, this place right here, and that represents your higher self, basically your divine self. That is without ego, and you know the direction where the divine wants to see you to move into. And then on to this side, the left of that is energies that are coming in that we're not seeing, that the divine wants us to pay attention, give us some counsel on these energies here. And then to the right are energies that we're aware of, but maybe the divine, how you see that the universe is giving us messages that wants us to pay attention to, because maybe we may need to look at something a little bit differently. And then we have a card that is, which I'll bring out later. When all three selves are aligned, this is an overall energy card that is from the divine. So we have our lower self down here, which you can't see at the moment, then our middle self, higher self, and then the divine self. All right. Okay, so we're going to start with this. I just read a passage from the Mayan Oracle book, giving some of the advice from, these are the star glyphs of the Mayans. We have two. Ik, which is the number, he's a number 2. And then we have also that wanted to come in and out today is it's not. And he's the number 18, which reduces down to 9. These guys, it's interesting that these guys are coming out because we have a lot of interesting things, as everybody knows. If you do watch a lot of the astrology, other readers and astrologers that are out there, we have a lot of astrology, planetary things going on that are very, very important now. We're in Scorpio season, and we are in the midst of Mercury retrograde. This is November 5th. So Ik represents the wind. And it's not, he represents flint and also that sword that cuts through things. And also, if we look at it, he's got like a lot of mirroring going on. So he also represents the Hall of Mirrors. And that's that sword of truth. That sword of truth will kind of show us, things that that need to be seen. And if you see the mirrors, they're kind of like, as above, so below, right and left. So basically, looking at things from different perspectives that we haven't seen it before. And it's interesting that he comes out because that's exactly what's going on in this Mercury retrograde right now. As we know, a lot of us know, or if you're not familiar with Mercury retrograde, that's when the planet Mercury goes in reverse. And he orbits in reverse. But what happens during that time is we have, things come up from the past and all that. And it's kind of like all these things that now we can see from a different perspective. And as the passage I read from Ik, that's kind of what that's saying. So it's kind of saying, see these things from a different perspective, but as well as stepping into being who you truly are, because as things get cleared away, we begin to see our true selves, and we begin to see our true nature. We begin to see our gifts, and then with all that being revealed, we start to move in a direction that more belongs to us, rather than living throughout a daily life or living, through expectations and things we have been taught that we should do. Basically, you should do all the kind of things that, we kind of carry with us that end up turning into burdens because we're doing them because we should, instead of doing it because this is who we are. And then it's traveling in that light, and it's traveling, with Ik being the wind, it's traveling the wind that is the one that wants to take us to the right direction. And that's what's all coming out and through here. Also remember, this is a general read, so take what resonates, and then take, and then just leave what doesn't resonate. And it's just kind of like, kind of the messages that are coming through. Right now it's a time of seeing things through the Hall of Mirrors, seeing things in in different angles and different perspectives. So we can see, hey, you know what? I may have done that in the past, but I did that and that ended up being a lesson. So now I'm seeing that doesn't serve me anymore, so I'm letting that go. And So energy is balancing this. This is the lens. So this is the lens. Lenses are all about, in this particular oracle deck, there are 13. And they're all about looking at things from a different perspective. And we have the language of light. And how interesting we can get, like when we talk about the hollow mirrors and everything, one of the things about mirrors is that reflection, that illumination. So it's about illuminating, illuminating from the inside out. So who we are on the inside shining through. So we want to bring that inside outward. So as we begin to cut things away and drop things off, and throw things, that we don't need, toss them out to the wind so the wind can carry them away, we begin to see what is actually real truth. And that's what this particular, the sword of truth, the flint, is all about. And it's interesting, we got this light illumination, and we have the knife, the sword of truth. So illuminating that truth. But it's illuminating the truth that comes from within. So now it's a time, speaking about the solar plexus and everything, it's a real time to be stepping into who we are. And it's not about righteousness. It's about just standing into our own truth instead of beliefs and belief system. It's just who am I? And we know who that is when this illumination starts coming out, and it's lightened up, and we're comfortable with who we are, being out in the open. So like a lot of times, if we're in different scenarios and it's like, oh, I'm not comfortable with that. Well, then that's not resonating with you. Then that's not where you should be. Or that's not, how you should be, or portraying yourself, or, feeling about yourself. Nobody has to fit into anything. There's nothing to fit in, because it's just being within. So by being within oneself, everything falls into place naturally. That's the natural, what we may call the natural law of attraction. Instead of trying to draw things, we don't need to try. We just need to be, and then we draw the right things naturally. And here, coming out here, is we have the 10, a manifestation. And it's exactly what I've just been trying to describe. By being who you are, and to help that is we use, the wisdom of the star glyphs of Etznam to show us truth through illumination, through the mirror, through the reflections. When we see a reflection, we see something, wow, that's off. That does not fit. Then we can just get rid of it. We don't need to really figure it out. We just need to put it, let the universe take it away. And this is with the wind. Eek is coming out to say, hey, I'm here to help you. So you have the universe helping you. It's coming out. So this feeling of, if there's this feeling of wow, this is so much, then just sit. As I was reading, for Eek, slow down and breathe. Sometimes that's all we need to do. When you're starting to feel like you need to do more, and that's starting to feel like a burden, then that's not serving you. Then that's not who you're supposed to be. Doing whatever that is you believe you should be doing, because there it is again, that should be. When if it's creating burden and discomfort, and creating a kind of separation and feeling in harmony with oneself, then slow down, and you can stop and just breathe. And then that just breathing, we reconnect with ourselves, reconnect with our centeredness, and then we begin to manifest what is truly what we're supposed to be manifesting. And that again is the manifestation of truth, of like our true identity. Okay, so this also is about unlocking the gates. This is kind of like the key of unlocking the gates to that, that Pandora's box, if you will. But it's that one that belongs to you, the one that's meant to be connected to you. So this is about that manifestation. So basically, starting with the illumination, to set aside what is not working, what is not, helping you to grow, what is no longer serving you, and then, getting rid of that. And then you will see, once we get rid of that, then you'll start to shine more and more and become brighter. And the illumination comes from within. So it's not that searching. If you're feeling you are without, then basically that's not the right thing. Go back, go within, go back to the breath, and then see the illumination. See, all that you need is within you, because it's all there. And so we have the Hawaiian message, and very interesting. It's the Ho'o Malama. And again, there's that message again. And I swear, I shuffle these cards, I promise you, I meditate, and there we have it again. To illuminate or enlighten. So our intent from the Hawaiian is basically your light, your vibration, your presence is an inspiration, an example for others. It is not what you do in life, but how you do it that truly matters. By bringing grace, love, respect, compassion, and gratitude to even the simplest tasks, you model for others an enlightened state. Your illuminated energy will inspire goodness and greatness in the world. Okay, so my intention, there's an intention with each one of these cards. My intention is to embody an enlightened state, to let my light shine, and to trust that it is the energy I bring to everything I do that matters the most. Okay, so the key to that is that what matters the most. Okay, so bringing the illumination, what matters the most. Oh. So, here we have it again, coming through from a totally different deck. The enlightened. So now it's really the time to enlighten. So it's really interesting, and I always felt this with the Mercury retrograde, this particular Mercury retrograde, and it's interesting because the Mercury retrograde in the Scorpio season, and right now Mercury is in Scorpio, so it's really interesting how we have this illumination coming through when we have, like, Scorpio. Well, if we look at the tarot deck, that's the card of death, is the Scorpio card. And Scorpio is also associated a lot with deep and death and darkness and everything. However, interestingly enough, it takes the darkness that will contrast in order to really shine this illumination that's coming through, that is beginning to come through. And I almost wanted to say trying to come through, but I was like, ooh, Spirit was like, no, it's not trying, it's coming through. So it is your time. It's your time. So if you're doing something, especially old patterns, that's where we're going to start. That's what's going to start being illuminated now, especially through the retrograde and everything. All these old patterns, and people say old people coming back. Sure, that happens. All these old things, basically, and when we see old people coming back, like exes or ex-friends or family we haven't seen for a while, people from the past coming back, basically that's still representing old patterns. And basically they're coming to illuminate, to show us truth. What's the truth? They're mirroring for us. They're mirroring for us. So what we want to take from this is to see. We want to. It's kind of like we want to kind of take ourselves outside of ourselves and watch ourselves as if, we're watching a movie, going through our lives. So it kind of takes that subjectiveness away, so we can watch things from an objective perspective, and that's what the lens is. The lens is talking about doing things from a different perspective. So, but taking this objective perspective, when things come up, the things that make us feel uncomfortable, if that person comes, back from the past, that, blast from the past or however, and that's the person that makes us feel uncomfortable or something, it's to show us why. It's to illuminate this uncomfortable so we can release it and get rid of it, so we can begin to shine and not be overshadowed by the things that make us feel uncomfortable or insecurities, all these things, and we can step into our power. Like, this is kind of like really looking like a power, and it looks like an eye, kind of like an eye here, but it's the illuminating eye that is telling us to look at things from an objective perspective so we can begin to shine. We can come forth. And then we have, of course, the Four of Jades, which is the Four of Pentacles, which is really interesting because Four of Pentacles is a lot about manifestation and everything. And the Four of Pentacles is in tarot. The Four of Pentacles is holding on, not letting go, right? So when we hold on, we will hold on to things. We dampen this illumination from this truth trying to come through. So basically, it's telling us. So he's got one in his hand, and he's looking at it. And how I'm seeing his eyes here, I'm seeing him looking, it's almost like he's like, well, do I really need this? I mean, so basically, what are we holding on to? And again, and it's that message that, we just said here, what are we holding on to? What's your true intent? Our true intent is to bring everything I do that matters the most. So that should be the truth. It's what really matters. It's what really is you. Everything else we can just let go. And so that's, the message coming through the Four of Pentacles here. I bring that up a little closer. That little guy, he's kind of looking at that. Should I let it go or should I hang on to it? Yay! And so very powerful message, because it is your time to shine. It really is. And so I have a couple of other cards I wanted to come through from the Zultan Tarot deck, the Mayan Zultan Tarot. And it's really, we have a lot of things. So I have the Seven of Wands. Wanted to come through. I'm going to put that up here a little bit. Here, I put that guy up here. And then we also have the Knight of Wands. Okay, so we're talking about standing your truth. Talking about, the patterns that we're holding on to, why we're holding on to that word, that coming from, is it insecurities, because we feel we should do, is it guilt, all that kind of stuff. Well, interesting, he comes out, because the Knight of Wands, the warrior in this deck, he represents the knight, and the Warrior of Wands, he knows who he is. He's got that passion to live his life to his truth. He knows who he is. He's 100% stands in who he is, and he goes after what he wants. And that's that Knight of Wands. And so the Seven of Wands often can be understood as, that of he who stands above all. Because he had to go through a time where he, a lot of challenges, maybe a lot of moments where he had to defend himself, defend his truth. But he knew what was true. And he had to take action to fight it because he had everybody else, you know, going the other direction. And he was like, no, this is my truth. This is my direction. And then, you know, kind of battling that off. And so, and what happens is that he kind of stands above. So even though he may have been defensive, so you may be feeling a little like, you know, all these energies, and they're intense. Oops, sorry. They're intense. And so they can make us feel like we need to be defensive. But when that's kind of was the point I was trying to bring out earlier, is that actually we've done all our work or fight, if you will. We've done all that. Now it's just our time to shine. So, and it's your time to shine above, to stand above the rest. He's made it now. He doesn't need to fight anymore. He doesn't need to defend his honor no more, because he has manifested. Oh, look, and I put it right on top of the manifestation card here, the 10, which is the 1. He's manifested his place in the world that is his truth. He's manifested that. And so he can just shine now. He can just shine and be who he is, and it doesn't matter what anybody else sees. These represent people little like gossiping and everything like that. But he doesn't matter. Look how adorned he is. He's all adorned. He's dressed up. He's like, well, look, y'all still just plain staffs over there, and I'm like a king. No matter what you think, it doesn't matter to me, because I found my place in the world, and I'm standing my truth, and I'm shining. And his truth is basically being who he is. And it's time, well, his or her, there's no gender specific. But basically, it's just standing your truth now. You've done the fight. You've done the work. It's just now if there's only going to be a fight left, is you just standing up above the rest, standing above the crowd, and standing above everybody, even if it's by yourself. It's time for you to shine, because it doesn't matter what anybody else says. And then here it is. The next one is the the one of stats, which is the Ace of Wands in the regular tarot. So that's it. It's a new beginning. And again, one, it's you. If you're feeling lonely, if you are feeling like you're by yourself, basically what Spirit is saying, coming through with the Ace of Wands, is that, I mean, yes, I do get to sense, Spirit is confirming, you will be surrounded by people. But the reason why you're feeling alone, okay, two steps to this message here. The first one, if you're feeling alone, is because right now, the people that are surrounding you, you may not need them, because they may not be the one. They were needed before, but they're not the ones, possibly. Maybe some of them. But basically, Spirit is saying, if you're finding yourself, you know, moving forward, and not many people are moving with you, and you're starting to see more and more you're by yourself, that's okay. Because it's like, right now, you need to stand alone. You need to, not necessarily you need to stand alone, but you need to stand for you. And sometimes that may mean we stand alone, because it is much greater to be in ourselves, in who we are, standing alone if that's what it takes, and be who we are, and stand in complete harmony with ourselves. And that's the empowering, the autonomy that brings about total balance and total, you know, when we just feel that peace, you know, within ourselves. We feel that oneness, that connectedness. That's what I was trying to get out. Feel that connectedness. When we feel that whole 100% being and connectedness with ourselves and our creator, our divine spirit, however you see that, but basically in balance with ourselves, that connectiveness, it's really empowering. And when we get that, it's like, even though, yes, we can have people around us and have our family and friends around us, and that's awesome, but it's like you don't need it. So it's okay right now you're feeling alone, because there are changes, if you are feeling that, because there are changes coming. But the second part of that message is Spirit is saying, what's going to happen is now, if you felt like you've lost some old friends and you had, make some cuts with old family and friends or whomever connections, you had to make some cut with some connections, Spirit is saying that that's okay. And you may feel like you're by yourself at the moment, but what's going to happen is you're going to stand in your truth, be who you truly are. You're going to shine through. And it's interesting how I have the Ace of Wands right on top of this the language of light, the illumination here, illuminating who you truly are, which the Wands also represents that creative self, that true creative self coming true forth to create who you are, that you're going to naturally attract the people that are meant to be around you. And you're going to be more fulfilled, more in celebration than before. And then, interesting, we have the Ace of Cups. So there it is again, the Ace of Cups. And this Ace of Cups, again, you're going to feel overflown with love. Because when we stand in ourselves, and it's a love like you never felt before, because it comes from within. It's that cup. The Ace of Cups is a cup that not only is filled with love from ourselves and the people around us, but it's also filled with the love from the divine. We can begin to feel that divine, that universal love, however you see that fit. And so, and when we feel that, we just shine even more, and then we attract even more that is within our energy, things that resonate with us on the same frequency level, and that is so powerful. And now is the time to do that, especially now when we have the advantage of Mercury in retrograde that is helping us. We have the universe, we have the planets helping us. Scorpio season, Mercury in retrograde, Jupiter and Sagittarius. That expansion of hopefulness and that to help like balance us, to walk side by side and lighting that light in the darkness, right? If you're feeling kind of like things have been in the darkness, lighting that light, illuminating that light, and that light is you to shine through and come forth. All right, thank you very much for the first part. If you want to continue, we're going to continue on to the second part. And we're just going to move on to the tarot, and we're going to see what the tarot cards have. I have the Druid Crafted Tarot that I'm using for the Hawaiian Ho'o Pono Pono spread that I do. All right, thank you very much. If you want to stop here, you can stop here. You can meet me over with the tarot. Aloha. All right, welcome back to the second part of the Moana Divine Readings Tarot. I'm Tarot and Oracle reading, Mayan and Hawaiian Oracle reading. I love that, rhymes, Mayan, Hawaiian. And also I'm bringing in the Druid Craft Tarot, which brings us a little other of some ancient ancestries of the Norse and Viking, that kind of energy too, which is really, really cool. Interesting, when I did the Mayan art, if you watch that, it's a great place to start before I get into the Ho'o Pono Pono. One of the cards I forgot to bring out that wanted to come out through the Mayan Zultan Tarot is the Strength card. We talked about, illuminating, being yourself. Sometimes that means, walking alone, because sometimes, when we start to walk our path, if we haven't been doing that, and then we begin to start to walk our path, all of a sudden we find, friends dropping off, people dropping off like flies, losing connections and stuff. And so we spoke about, maybe that means standing alone. But when you walk your path, it's like all of a sudden you begin to see, it's like, well, I didn't need those connections because they kept me down. And now I'm shining through, I'm illuminating, I'm starting to, shine bright. And so one of the cards I forgot to bring out, or I didn't quite see it until I was like, oh yeah, that's right, that card was right there. Was this is the Strength card in this, this is the Zultan Tarot. It's a Mayan Zultan Tarot. And in this particular deck, the Strength card is a cactus. And I really love this for the cactus. And this is Leo energy. And it's kind of cool because we can really use some of this Leo righteousness energy, which actually also came out in the Mayan Oracles. Which is, we had Etznop, he's the flint, he's that sword. But it's that regal truth, and that's kind of like, when we think of Leo, the lion, the king of the jungle, right? He and, we think of Richard the Lionheart, all that real integrity, that honesty and everything. So it's really interesting that we have this deck particularly has the cactus, and it represents a Strength card. And what's interesting is you have that kind of idea, in the regular card, the lady taming the beast. Well, in this case, it's like the cactus, well, it tames itself because it can withstand, the cactus is a plant of the desert. And so, a lot of us are familiar that the desert, pretty harsh terrain, pretty harsh circumstances, especially to try to live and exist in that. So, but the cactus is able to do what he needs to do in order to survive. So it holds on, it takes into the water. And if we use that in symbology, water can represent love, that feeling of emotions and love. And he holds on to that water. So when things run dry around him, he's got the water that he needs within him to provide that nourishment. And we can see the flowers growing. So even though he's in a real dry terrain where not much, life exists there. It takes a special kind of life to exist in the desert. Not only is he just living and existing, he's flourishing. So he's shining through. So I just love this card for the Strength card. And it takes a special kind of strength. So it's not just like, oh, be strong and keep shining through and keep plowing through your troubles. No, it's a special kind of strength. Like, find out who you are as your special strength. Your special character. Find your quirks. Find the things that we find like normally would maybe be embarrassing, but it's who you are. So why is that embarrassing? Like, his flowers are a little different. They're not like, pretty roses and perfect tulips or something like that. They're really unique. But that's his character, but he's really beautiful. And I'm saying he is not really gender specific. But what I'm trying to say is find your special character. Find your quirks. Actually look at your quirks and enjoy them and make those shine, because that's what makes you unique. Okay, so we're going to put him there. And that's strength. And that's true strength. True strength is loving who you are, whether you're perfect or whether you're the most imperfect moment, And it's really loving those quirks. Okay, getting on to I just explained real quick. we have the middle card here represents, so in Hawaiians, my spread, the Ho'o Pono Pono spread, is based on Hawaiian principles of the three selves. Middle self, lower self, higher self. Middle self is you manifested here on earth. The lower self is basically your subconscious nature that holds our egos or our pure self as well. There's a pure self and then there's the ego self, and that kind of like is also could be our rudimentary nature as well. You know, it's kind of like, you know, could be like the one that reactive. Okay, and then we have the top one here is our higher self. So this is our divine self. This is our self without ego and anything like that. It's a pure self, pure spirit, divine self. But we're all connected. And then this is the card. I don't know, Spirit had me turn it over. It's usually I turn it over afterwards. But this is the card that is a spirit, what Spirit is guiding us towards at the moment. It's at this moment in time. Or at the moment that you resonate with this reading. It can be a timeless reading. Even though I'm doing it now, November 5th, 2019. We're in Scorpio season, but it's what Spirit is guiding you at the moment that you're resonating with this reading. The energy that Spirit is guiding you for this reading, and we have the Prince of Cups. Now it's really interesting. So the Prince of Cups is, and we had, you know, a lot of this, you know, cup energy standing within yourself. So the Prince of Cups. My readings are slightly different because it's more geared toward yourself, and I will be adding love readings for those who want love readings for the different zodiac signs. Right now, these readings are general, and I forgot to mention that earlier, but these readings are general, they're for the collective, and basically, if you're meant to be here, this is your message. So basically, it's the Prince of Cups. Basically, this is you offering your cup of love, and I'm seeing a lot of yellow coming through, a little bit of orange, but a lot of yellow. And I'm just, this card has drawn me to this section right here, the yellow here in the card, and yellow around the horse's head here, and it's kind of like the sun is coming up, it's dawn, he's like right up and early, even before the sun is completely rise. We still have the moon out, and look, we have the balance, the beautiful sun coming up, and then the moon still out, beautiful moon, and he's ready. He's ready. Now remember, I'm saying he because it's a prince, but it's energy. It's just a masculine energy. It's not really about genders. But so for the story here, he's ready to give this cup of love. And we just finished talking about the cactus having that water ready for when he needs it. And he's like, not only is he ready to offer his love, but he's been carrying it around for a while. He's been saving it for the right moment, and now is the right moment. So Spirit is giving a very strong message about this love. This is a very unique love, and it's a love I'm hearing. It's a love that has been lost to today's humanity, if you will, society. It's a love that has been lost and possibly forgotten for a long time, because it's something that we have forgotten to do for a long time, and it's a special kind of love. It's this unconditional love that not only are we going to give to ourselves, but it's unconditional love that we want to give to ourselves. It's almost like romancing ourselves. And what I was referring to about the yellow is basically the solar plexus chakra, which talks about, autonomy, stepping into your own power. And how do you step into that power? We step into that power by, first of all, loving ourselves. And this unconditional love here, is basically acceptance. And I just finished talking about the cactus. Accepting your quirks. Accepting yourself no matter, you know, if you had a perfect day or if you had a bad day or you made a mistake or, I don't know, fail a test or, you know, something like this. Because in my vocabulary, there's no such thing as fail. There's no such thing as fail. The word doesn't exist, really. It was kind of created. Because there's only lessons that can be learned. And I know, some people may say, well, that's not realistic what I'm saying. But if we look at it from a higher perspective, and this is coming in the position of the divine. So this is coming from a higher spiritual place, this message. And if we look at that point of view from this divine, higher, universal message, like, just think of, Archangel Michael or something like that writing a test, right? I don't think he's going to worry. He's just going to do his best with who he is. And this is what is this love. This love is very special. And again, I was drawn to this yellow, which means this love is about wanting to love yourself, wanting to romance yourself, if that doesn't sound too weird. Wanting to balancing the masculine, feminine, right? Because he's the masculine. And basically, the horse is really pretty, and the cup of love, is, love is often referred as a feminine energy. So balancing this masculine and feminine, right? The physical and then the spiritual. So Spirit is really giving us a strong message that this love is very special, and we may have forgotten about it. All right, so we're going to come to the middle self. And we're going to see where our energy's at right now. And interesting, we have a Prince of Cups and we have the Princess of Swords. So the Princess of Swords, she's a princess. She's not a queen yet. So interesting. What Spirit wants to say about this. This is basically our energies right now in this reading. This is us and how the world is perceiving us in the energies right now for the reading. And it's the Princess of Swords. And basically, she's young. She's not a queen yet. She's still learning. But again, we have this sword. We have Etznap here, right? The sword. And it's all about truth. And she is basically... So in the regular Wyatt Tarot, that's also the Page of Swords. So basically, she is learning who she is. And this card can be more suiting to the reading right now. Because this is all about illuminating who you are. And you don't have to try to illuminate. We don't have to, go out and shine a light on us and take a microphone and say, hey, I'm here, I've arrived. Well, you can if you want. I do. But it's really as simple as just sitting with oneself, accepting oneself, and just say, hey, I'm not accepting that. I'm moving this way, or I'm moving on, or I'm going that way. I'm going the other opposite direction. I'm not accepting that. And then just moving, just not even focusing on it or not letting that get into your mind. It's about, focusing on what really matters. And that came through earlier with the Ho'o Pono card, which is all about, again, illumination or enlighten. And, and basically the intention is I bring to everything I do that matters the most. And this is what the advice from the Princess of Swords is telling you. Just bring to what matters, to bring to light what matters the most. If it doesn't matter, if it doesn't sit with you, then leave it. Don't even think about it. Move on. That's the truth. And oh my goodness, I can't believe this. I mean, I swear, these cards, they talk to each other before they come out. I can't believe it. Now we have the Queen of Swords. Oh my goodness. So this is energy. This only happens on the middle self because this is what we're trying to bring all in balance is to who you are manifested on this planet and the lessons that we're learning so you can be who you are. And look at this, the Queen of Swords. Oh my gosh. I hear some of the tarot readers, they like to say, I can't make, well, they say I can't make this, stuff up. Another word, they use another word, but anyways, I'm going to use I can't make this stuff up, which is this, it's true, it's so true. I swear these cards talk to each other. I mean, we have 3 different decks and are saying the same thing. We have the Ace of Wands came out earlier, again illuminating. The 7 of Wands, all about standing above what when we have that conflict, whether it's with others or in ourselves, it is about shining through and standing above that, being true to yourself, and then being truly who you are, because the Wands is about action, and the actions here is telling us to be truly who you are. And then you're going to mature into this queen, and she is, I like what one reader says, she's a force to not be reckoned with. You don't want to reckon with this queen. She knows who she is. She's got righteousness. She has a compassion because she has the knowledge. She has done the work through whatever form of education. If it's spiritual learning, if it's going back to school, she has learned whatever means she had to do to learn the lessons to become this queen, to know truth. And and she's got the compassion because of that knowledge, that she knows, that true righteousness, the, right from wrong. And also, too, she does not pay attention to, no BS, if you will. She doesn't pay attention to anything that doesn't matter. She's only going to bring to light to what matters most. And that's it. I mean, she's all about business right up in here. Look at, geez. She's pretty serious there. She all about business, right? She's like, wow, I'm all about business up in here. Don't mess with me. And so what we have now, so what our lower selves, whoa, oh my goodness, wow. Hey, y'all. Wow, we're really stepping into we're owning this reading. Oh my gosh. We're owning this reading. Now, interestingly enough, the Magician is an awesome card to have in a reading, especially in this position of the lower self, of ego and a purity. So the lower self represents both ego and a pure self. Because when we're babies, we're very pure, and the lower self represents, that just soul being that is pure innocence. However, it can be also scarred through if, we've had any abuse or anything like that. It can be scarred to that. And then that's where we get, a bit of the, insecurities or issues coming up, fears, guilt, and all that kind of stuff, and we want to heal that if, any of that's going on. But it looks like you are healing. You are healing. Not only are you healing, it's almost like you're getting past that healing. You're stepping into power. He's dancing right up there. Staying alive, staying alive. Ah, ah, ah. Staying alive. So anyways, who's heard that song in a while? Some of you maybe never heard that song. I don't know. Anyways, you're stepping into your power. So you're this Queen of Swords who feels like, what? I got this. Don't mess with me. I got the power. So basically the Magician talks about the one who can manifest anything. As we know, or if you're not familiar with the tarot, the Magician has all the elements. He has the cups, he has the pentacles, he has the swords, and he also has the wands. He has all the elements that he needs to manifest anything. Now, this is quite a powerful card for this position. It's very powerful for this position. So it's really stepping into you're feeling good. This Mercury retrograde is feeling good for a lot of us. Because I feel, I don't know about y'all, but October, let's go back into even August, September, holy moly. And not even, let's go back into January. Let's go back to, a whole year here. Whoa, that whole year was quite something. Last year was quite something. I think we've done a lot of work. So look at this. Our work is paying off, baby. Here we are, the magician, staying alive. And that's how you're feeling. Your subconscious is now starting to illuminate. That's that illumination, the lens that we had earlier in the Mayan Oracle. If you're interested in, if you haven't seen the first part, if you're interested in looking at that first part, go back, and I recommend watching that, because we talk about that illumination coming through by being yourself. And this is coming through. It's coming through. This is that lens of illumination. You're the magician, baby. You can make anything happen, and more importantly, you're feeling that way. I'm not just saying, I'm not a fortune teller or anything. I just read the divine messages that come through. But I am saying, Spirit is saying, you're feeling that way. And that's it, right? That's how we should be feeling. That's this cup of love we should be giving to ourselves. Man, I am singing and dancing, and I don't know, maybe that's a cup of wine. I'm not sure. We're celebrating. Anyhow, I'm not giving any advice there or any suggestion. Just saying, we're having fun. We're feeling great about ourselves, and that's the healing. You're starting to actually feel great. You're confident, and you're stepping into your empowerment, that autonomy, and it's shining through. And it's shining through. So here's our higher self, and interesting. We have the Justice card. Wow, it's like, man, I'm telling you, these cards talk to each other. This is crazy. I swear they talk to each other. Yeah, you go over there. I'm going over here. This is the message from your divine, your higher self. Okay, and it's the Justice. This is the 11. So, wow, I'm sorry. I had to take a breath because I'm feeling overwhelmed. I can't even get the words out. I'm so, actually, this is bringing tears to my eyes. Okay, we got the sword on the right hand. Okay, and right also can represent moving to the future, which in this case, the higher self also represents, you know, how the energies, when we're continuing in this path, we're moving into the future, into this balance, into this illumination. When we talk about illumination, we also talk about when we come into illumination, into who we truly are, and we're coming into balance, we're talking about enlightenment, y'all. Enlightenment. And one of the Mayan Oracle cards, the 10, if you go back with the number 10, there's a numerology card, there's a lens card, and then there's the star glyphs. The numerology card came out, it was a 10, and that's a 1. But that particular card in that particular deck represents the key of unlocking the mysteries of our own coding, of our own truth, of our own beings, and our who we are, who we're meant to be this lifetime. And this is a message from our divine saying it's happening. And also because you're feeling like, yes, I'm it, baby. So when we feel that way, and we let go of trying to do anything else, especially things that are not working for us, then, and we just like experience ourselves and stand in ourselves and just say, wow, I'm just feeling great by feeling me. Then, and please don't take that the wrong way, feeling myself. Okay, we're not going there, but we're saying justice here. But yeah, just being you. I'm feeling my own experiences by being me, just by being me, not trying to be somebody, not trying to do something, not trying to make something of myself, just by being and feeling my own experiences and experiencing my own experiences and witnessing my own experiences. Just so cool. And so the Justice here, what really kind of made me cry, so she has, okay, and in the Owl we have the Wisdom, right? And the Wisdom, and so the more we open ourselves up, and the more more we illuminate ourselves, the more spirit connects and keeps bringing us the wisdom. And then the other thing that, I'm being drawn to is, the little spider here, the little guy in the corner. He represents in this card, in this deck, the Druid craft. I might not be saying that right, but anyways, he represents in this deck, the things that are all connected. And in the Hawaiian, that cord that connects all things, the web, is called the Aka cord. Aka cord, sorry. And that's the cord that connects us all, connects all things. We are connected, but we just have to step into that connection. And it's just by being. It's interesting. It's hard and it's simple at the same time. It's interesting. But what really wanted to make me cry here is, okay, so we're illuminating ourselves because we're illuminating, our truth is illuminating through, and it's allowing us to come through. But but what really kind of really made me really emotional here is that we're becoming balanced. Everything is falling into place. We're becoming balanced. We're becoming connected with ourselves, and connected with this love. This love that we want to give to ourselves. We're finally starting to see it. It's like, holy cow! I never knew I had this love. I actually wanted to give it to myself. I mean, we hear that. Love yourself more. Give yourself love. But we never realized, like, holy cow, I've been carrying this love with me this whole time. And now that the sun is coming through, this illumination, and this is power, by the way. This is self-power. This is your solar plexus chakra. This is your autonomy, your self-empowerment right here. And because that's starting to get stronger and it's starting to shine, it's like, now you're like, I really wanted to give myself love. Wow, I never realized. I think I'm going to dance with myself tonight. Oh yeah. Okay, so now we have the powerful message that came through. This is really powerful, you guys. And I can't believe we have the Princess of Swords and then the Queen of Swords. You are this queen, or if you're male watching, the king, however that resonates with you. I mean, they're energies, but you're basically becoming from that younger, still learning state into this mature, I know who I am. I'm standing in myself and who I am. So on this side, this is hidden energies that's coming through. Oh, what? Energies that are coming through that we're not seeing or not recognizing. We're feeling them, but we're not recognizing. And of course, hello. And if you're the Tower, and if you do watch, if you're like me, you watch a lot of readers. I just love a lot of readers out there. If you watch a lot of readers, like how many times, I'm going to start counting how many times I see the Tower. And actually, if you want to leave a comment below, let me know, if you watch a lot of readers out there, how many times have you seen this Tower card come out in a reading? Okay, so for those, if you're new to tarot, the Tarot card represents that comes in, that brings about change. And often, it kind of like takes down the building. You're left with that foundation, which is you. You're the foundation. You're left with that foundation, but then we have to rebuild the building. And this is so suiting as to the message I was kind of saying about earlier. With the Seven of Wands coming through the earlier reading, the part 1, is that we're seeing things fall apart. We're seeing things kind of dropping off or letting go or just kind of disappearing, if you will, or just basically just like dying in a metaphorical way of speaking. So a lot of death around us, and we're seeing things, and we're starting to feel that like, whoa, I'm kind of standing alone here. And that's the Tower feeling. But it's bringing about change, and the Tower is also the universe in action. The universe is saying, hey, I'm sorry. Might have to get burnt a little bit over here. Might have to get burnt here a little bit stung. But we gotta bring about this change. It's gotta happen. It's a cycle of life, but it's also for your own good. Yeah, tough love, I guess, but it's for your own good, because it's going to be that uncomfortable. It's going to be that uncomfortableness that pushes out of our comfort zone. Sometimes we need that push. When we think about that story, the baby birds. The mother has to take that little baby bird, drop it off from, I don't know, 25 feet or 50 feet or something, so it can learn to fly. So it's taking us out of that nest, out of that comfort zone, so we can learn to fly, so we can flourish, so we can feel like this guy right here, dang alive, and it's so true. And I mean this more on a inside way. Staying alive is feeling alive. Like on the inside, like sometimes when we get stuck in a rut, we don't feel lively, right? So when that change comes through and it pushes us out of our comfort zone, it's scary. It may be scary. Maybe it's not scary for some of us, but it's definitely uncomfortable. And for some of us, it might be very scary. But it takes what it takes to get us past that, to get us into where we need to go, right? So we can feel alive again. Because then we're like, holy cow, I need that change. We do. We need to change. Otherwise, we don't grow. Without change, there's no growth. Without growth, things come to a stagnant. And so wow, I can't believe this. Oh my goodness, the 5 of Pentacles. And this is at the position in the reading. Yeah, this position in the reading here is what we are. And I said this in the step 1, and when we did Oracle. This position in the reading is what we are noticing. The energies that we are noticing that are happening around us. But Spirit wants us to take a different perception on this. Now, the 5 of Pentacles, we are feeling this. Again, if you watch a lot of readers, like I do, and start counting how many times you've seen the 5 of Pentacles, right? How many times have we seen this card come out of a reading? I swear, I've seen this and the Tower come out more than 10. 10. It goes to show you how many readings I watch. Anyway, so we are feeling this left out in the cold. We are feeling isolated. We are feeling, and I just was talking about that earlier, how, you may be feeling like you're alone. You have to stand alone, and we are feeling this. And one of the things is about this feeling, if we want to talk about, finding a soul tribe. That seems to be a lot of talk, or the buzz talk out there in readings nowadays, or other spiritual talk. This 5 of Pentacles, one of the reasons he may be feeling left in the cold, because he's feeling like, oh, I'm not part of the soul tribe, I'm not welcome. And that could be, again, cutting those connections. You're starting to feel different. You're starting to feel isolated from them, because all of a sudden you're growing. And if they're not going the same direction, they're not serving you no more. You have to, this Tower moment has to come in. And it's interesting how they're balancing each other. They're balancing each other. This Tower moment is happening, right? It's putting us out of the comfort zone. That's that 5 of Pentacles. We're starting to feel kind of, whoa. I'm not feeling, I don't even know who I am right now. And, but Spirit wants you to take that different perception that it's happening. First, we got to take away all the stuff. We have to remove all the dirt. It's like when we cut ourselves, and there's dirt in there. We can't just put a band-aid over that. What do we do first with a cut? We have to clean it, right? So that's what Spirit is doing. Spirit is coming in, okay? And this is where it's serving us. This is where Spirit is helping us. Spirit is coming in with this tower moment, with this tower energy, is coming in to remove all the dirt in our life. There you go. That's an easy way of saying it. It's removing all the dirt in our life, all the things that we don't need. It's not serving us because we need to grow, and these things are holding us back. So it's removing all that dirt. And so we may be feeling, but Spirit wants to say, hey, you're not alone. You're empowered. Also, we're here. We got your back. You're not alone. You're empowered. See, there's the yellow. Look at the yellow. She's wearing yellow. So Spirit is saying you actually are able now to step into your power, to see who you are, because we removed all the clutter, all the dirt, all the things that were actually truly blinding you. Okay? She got her hand over her eyes there. She doesn't want to see. Right? The tower moment. It's pretty uncomfortable. So you may be feeling like, this is really uncomfortable. I don't want to be here. But the tower moment is saying, hang on. You're going to see. Your soul tribe is coming. See how they're chasing? Okay? She's not realizing, or he's not realizing, they're coming. Okay? So first we got to remove that. Remove those that are holding us back. Because the real ones are coming. And this is long, long distance. And so, again, I can't believe this. But we have, the Ace of Cups on the bottom of the deck. Ace of Cups. And I can't believe that. And the Ace of Cups came up in the Mayan Oracle reading. I'm telling you, these cards talk to each other. So, I put that here. You illuminate, baby. You illuminate. You're number one. You're the greatest. And the overall energy for the reading is the number 4. The number 4. And that number 4 represents, in Chinese, the 4 represents death. But as we know, with death comes birth. 4, however, also represents foundation. So again, the tower moment is taking us back down to the basic foundation of who we are, so we can see it clearly. This lady sees clearly who she is. Exactly. She knows exactly who she is, because there's no clutter. There's nothing, there's nothing like blocking her sight, right? Like how she's blocking her sight there. She's not seeing yet, or he or she is not seeing yet who, they're not seeing what's coming. They're not seeing like who they really are yet. And that's coming through. And that's this justice. This justice, again, it's all about clarity. It's all about bringing the truth. It's all about balance, okay? Complete balance. So we're becoming whole now. But the thing is, if we haven't been there before, we're not going to recognize it at first. But Spirit is saying, hold on, because you're going to see very soon. You're becoming that queen. Or if you're male, you're becoming that king. And so I'm just going to draw one last card, one last message from the Mystic Shaman Oracle. And from the Shaman Oracle, and see what message we get. I am shuffling here. And we're actually going to grab that guy. And it's Taming the Wind. And that is, again, a 5 with a 1. So we got a 1. Taming the Wind. Isn't that interesting? Taming the Wind. Which is really interesting. If you watched, we had the wind come out, eek. And I just can't believe that. So we have the wind come out again. So the wind, Taming the Wind. I'm going to read from the book here, because I gave the message to what Eek wanted us to say. And again, Eek, when I read about Eek, he talked about when you're feeling that uncomfortable, or when you're doing something, or when you're being, if you're being your word got mumbled there, your unauthentic self, to slow down. You don't have to try, or you don't have to try harder. You don't have to reverse yourself. Just slow down and breathe. And then once we do that, then we're just being. And then that brings us back to centeredness and reconnectedness. And now we have the Taming the Wind again with the Shaman Oracle. So I'm going to put those guys here. I'm going to move this. Sorry for Jades. Whoa. Yeah. Come on, buddy. So we got Eek the Wind. Starglyph Eek the Wind. And he's 11, by the way. I mean, he's a 2. Okay, so the message from Taming of the Wind. I want to read from the book because I just love what they say and what they have to say. So the essence of this card is basically Hear the Feather, a symbol that is used in clearing ceremonies for smudging, reminds you of the sacred commitment you make to your life. Wow. Isn't that what this reading was just trying to say in a few words? This is the symbol of consciously bringing the spiritual into the material, infusing the world reverence and acknowledgement of the higher planes of existence that influence and animate all life. The feather is a symbolic reminder of deliberately entering into partnership with the Great Spirit to co-create for the highest good for all. Now the invitation, this card wants to give an invitation to invite you to acknowledge it's time to clear your energy. Be present. See, clear the energy. We talked about that. Talked about the Justice card and with the Queen of Swords, and with this one about, clearing the clutter, clearing the dirt, getting rid of all that, clearing the energy. Be present, become conscious of how you communicate. And it's interesting they talk about communication because I was actually been drawn to the blue. Blue is the color of the throat chakra. And I was going to say something, but for some reason I didn't. But it comes through here. So basically communicate who you are. Now, that's not always verbal. Sometimes that's just being who you are. You can communicate who you are through your actions, through your integrity, through just being your authentic self. So this is a good time to write in a journal. So here's another way of communicating. This is giving advice. Write. And that has been coming through the energies. Writing, that will help. If you write things in a journal and your thoughts into a cohesive form. Perhaps you need to actually do a smudging ceremony, maybe a clearing ceremony. It doesn't have to be smudging, whatever you feel is a clearing ceremony. So clear your home, clear your office, clear the energies around you, your sacred space. Creating a sacred space to write about your dreams and desires. So write about your dreams, desires, and thoughts. You can even write about the things that are really like weighing heavy on your heart. Just remember that when Taming the Wind appears as a symbol, it is time to honor the Great Spirit with reverence and respect. So that's definitely connecting to your higher self, which is lovely. Very, very lovely. Because your higher self is justice. Again, she, is about, being clear and having clarity and balance. And then we have the divine co-creator, universal energy, universe divine coming in, however you see that, is telling you like, hey, sure, accept our love. We want to love you. But also, we've given you all the tools you need to feel whole and love yourself. And that's a nice way, that's a nice connecting with the co-creator through this message. Because the co-creator wants you to love yourself. You have everything you need to be whole. So the medicine of this card, so here's kind of like the counsel or advice. the medicine of the card. It's time to clean up any misunderstandings. There's your justice with others. Clear the air, and that's also the Queen of Swords. Clear things up. Bring clarity. Bring truth. You know, clean up any misunderstandings, or, you know, if necessary, may have to do some cutting. Clear the air, though. After disagreements, clear the air. I allow others to share their side of things. But it's all about truth, right? If you want that clarity. You are called now to be a good listener. Actually, so interestingly enough, this is not a time to be right. It's a time for you to understand rather than be understood. Good things come out of this restraint of tongue and pen. You will be surprised at how things get resolved when you allow for all sides to have value. That's a beautiful message. Right now, though, I wouldn't totally worry about other people. Sometimes understandings or misunderstanding other people is about knowing where everybody stands. And if somebody doesn't feel right, like they stand righteously in a place in your life, then you may need to let them go. Right now, that advice I would take into a personal account of that communication with yourself. And then when you have that communication of yourself, clearing out the misunderstandings within yourself, then it makes it really easy when we do need to approach communication with misunderstandings or any kind of other communications we need with others. But this is taming the wind within ourselves. And the wind often represents mind, and they refer to a feather. So which also refers to air. So more like clearing through, you know, the air and wind, clearing your energy, and then communicating through your heart. You want to communicate through this love. And that's kind of, I would say, the advice from the Taming of the Wind Shaman card is really about, you know, whether dealing with yourself or others in any kind of conflict or misunderstanding or uncomfortableness, if you will. It comes from this beautiful love. You start with this beautiful love. See things through love. And this is like that unconditional love. Basically how they would call compassion. And when we see things through compassion, we can understand. And it will help when we do that writing in the journal. Because, you know, when we do writing, it really helps us to, you know, take our thoughts on a different level of understanding. So begin to understand with yourself. And that's why the journaling is really going to help, is the writing, the journaling. Write your thoughts, write your dreams, write your hopes and your wishes. Write poetry, write songs. Express what you need to express this love in ways of creative communication. Start with that writing and get that expression out, and then it'll start to unfold. You know, your character, your personality, your autonomy will really start to unfold and illuminate and shine through. So thank you very much. I hope that really helped. I really appreciate anybody that stayed through and joined me today. I really love doing these readings. I really love sharing with y'all. So leave a comment. If you want to leave a comment about how many times you've seen a tarot and that Five of Pentacles. But it's the energy, and you know, it's fabulous. It's fabulous when we can take these things and really use them to empower ourselves. So be empowered, be the light, lots of love. Aloha, Kekahi. I can't say it today. I'm really tongue-tied. I'm so emotional. But basically, love one another and love yourself. Give yourself that wonderful cup of love that you deserve. Aloha. Aloha, and welcome to the third part of our reading today for November 2019. Going into Scorpio season. We're here in the dark. We talked a lot about illumination, and sometimes we can't really see things, really see that illuminating object or reality, if you will, until we actually step into the darkness first. And darkness speaks a lot more about, when we talk about death. What is death? So death is talking a little bit more about, okay, releasing and letting go. Because it really does feel like, something has died. And in one way it has. And when you have that feeling, that's the feeling you want. That is the positive feeling. That's when you know you're growing. Because that is that feeling of something is lost. Because we've let it go. And when you feel that loss, that's when you know you've let it go. And this gives the opportunity of the space for the divine to come in. So we had Etsnap, which is the sword, cutting so we can get to that truth. That truth is that illumination. But we have to cut through the darkness first. And then we had the wind. And so when we let go, we call into the wind, that was Eek, calling in for Eek, the star lift of the wind to take that away for us. All right, so not our meditation, but there is a meditation, but for the affirmation, we will be saying, I am the truth beyond mirrors as I step through the mirror into a greater reality. A greater reality is that divine truth. Okay, not perception of truth, the divine truth. Okay, and then so the mudra is just bringing up and then cutting through, okay? And we're doing it both arms, bringing up and cutting through. We'll do that 3 times. All right, let's get started. I am the truth beyond mirrors as I step through the mirror into a greater reality. I am the truth beyond mirrors as I step through the mirror into the greater reality. I am the truth beyond mirrors as I step through the mirror into a greater reality. Awesome. And I just wanted to read one last statement. I really think it's really pertaining. We can take with us, because sometimes, that feeling of loss, it takes vulnerability, and that's okay. Truth call my name as I stand naked before you, stripped of illusion. All right. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the reading today, and go ahead, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Tell me those comments, and have a great rest of the month. This is a wonderful time, wonderful season, because we're going to see, once we step through that illusion, we're going to see the greater things to come. The divine will be able to bring it, and they're waiting, and they are supporting us. You are not alone. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed the reading again. And aloha, Kekahi, Kekahi. Love one another.